this book. One More Thing by B.J. Novak. Stories and other stories. The story behind this book for me is I used to go to this sleepaway summer camp every summer during high school, and it was just like the best time. Oh, there he is. That's kind of creepy. And when I was younger, our counselors, like our cabin counselors, would read to us. They would play us songs before bed. Like, it was the sweetest thing. Like slow songs, like really beautiful songs. And they would read us stories too sometimes. And so one time somebody read us a story out of this book. And I don't even remember which one it was, but I bought the book immediately when I got home. And so it reminds me of summer camp. And that camp was last week, or like 2 weeks ago, I think. So seeing everyone's pictures on the Instagram, that was kind of nostalgic for me. So that's why I was thinking about this book recently. And realized I still have it. So they're just short stories. So I'll read you a few of these stories. The first one is called The Rematch. Also, I don't know, can you read? Like, I think people do read for ASMR videos, but I'm scared I'm gonna get like copyrighted or something. I'm not sure how that works. In the aftermath of an athletic humiliation on an unprecedented scale, a loss to a tortoise in a fortress so staggering that his tormentors teased it would not only live on in the record books, but would transcend sport itself and be taught to children around the world in textbooks and bedtime stories for centuries. That hundreds of years from now, children who had never heard of a tortoise would learn that it was basically a fancy type of turtle from hearing about this very race. The hare retreated, understandably, into a substantial period of depression and self-doubt. The hare gained weight, then lost weight, turned to religion, then another less specific religion. The hare got into yoga, shut himself indoors on a self-imposed program to read all the world's great novels. Then traveled the world. Then did some volunteer work. Everything helped a little bit at first, but nothing really helped. After a while, the hare realized what the simplest part of him had known from the very beginning. He was going to have to rematch the tortoise. No, came the word from the tortoise's spokesperson. The tortoise prefers to focus on the future, not relive the past. The tortoise is focused full-time on inspiring a new generation with the lessons of dedication and persistence through his popular speaking tours and his charitable work with the Slow and Steady Foundation. The smugness and sanctimony of the tortoise's response infuriated the hare. The lessons of dedication and persistence. Had everyone forgotten that the hare had taken 6 naps throughout the race, unequivocally guaranteeing victory to anyone? A horse, a dog, a worm, a leaf, depending on the wind. Anyone lucky enough to be matched against the hare at this reckless, perspectiveless, and now forever lost peak phase of his career, an offensive period of his own life that he had obsessed about and tried in vain to forgive himself for ever since. race to that tortoise again. You think I'd win this time? Or do you think pride would get the better of me all over again? Then he'd shrug and run off again at a provocatively medium pace. Slowly, steadily, anticipation built for a tortoise-hare rematch. After a while, it became all that anyone could talk about, and eventually the questions made their way to the tortoise. No, said the tortoise, but this time his no just led to more questions. No now or no ever. Would he ever rematch the hare? If so, when and under what conditions? If not, why? Could he at least say maybe? No, said the tortoise again. Never. They kept asking, and he kept saying no until eventually everyone gave up and stopped asking. And that's when the tortoise sat and dizzy at having all this attention given to him and then taken away, impulsively said, yes, okay, I bet I can beat this hare again. Yes. I'm undefeated against the hare, thought the tortoise. Actually, I'm 1-0. I'm undefeated in my entire racing career. How do you win a race? Slow and steady. That's what they say, right? Well, I invented slow and steady. This is good. This will be good. One time could have been a fluke. Twice there'll be no question. The race was set in 10 days' time. The tortoise set out to replicate what seemed to have worked the first time, which was nothing in particular. Simple diet, some walking around, a little of this, a little of that. He didn't want to overthink it. He was going to mainly just focus on being slow and steady. The hare trained like no one had ever trained for anything. He ran 15 miles every morning and 15 every afternoon. He watched tapes of his old races. He slept 8 hours every night, which is practically unheard of for a hare. And he did it all under a wall taped full of mean, vicious things everyone had said about him in all the years since the legendary race that had ruined his life. On the day of the race, the tortoise and hare met at the starting line and shared a brief private conversation as their whole world watched. Good luck, hare, said the tortoise, as casual as ever. Whoa, you know what's funny? Do that again, huh? From this angle, you look like a duck. Now you look like a hare again. Funny. Anyway, good luck, hare. And good luck to you, tortoise, whispered the hare, leaning in close. And just so you know, nobody knows this, and if you tell anyone I said it, I'll deny it. But I'm not really a hare, I'm a rabbit. This wasn't true. The hare just said it to fuck with himself. This wasn't true. The hare just said it to fuck with him. On your mark, get set, go. There was a loud bang and... Wait a second. This wasn't true. The hare just said to mess with... This wasn't true. The hare just said it to mess with him. On your mark, get set, go. There was a loud bang and the tortoise and hare both took off from the starting line. Never in the history of competition, athletic or otherwise, human or otherwise, mythical or otherwise, has anyone ever kicked anyone's ass by the order of magnitude. The hare kicked the ass of that gut. I don't know if I can say that on here. Of that tortoise that afternoon. Within seconds, the hare was in the lead by hundreds of yards. Within minutes, the hare had taken the lead by more than a mile. The tortoise crawled on, slow and steady, but as he became anxious at having lost sight of his competitor and panicked over what he seemed to have done to his legacy, he started speeding up, less slow, less steady, but it hardly mattered. Before long, less than 20 minutes after the 7-mile race had begun, word worked its way back to the beginning of the race that the hare had not only won the contest and had not only recorded a time that was a personal best, but had also set world records, not only for all hares, but also for leopards, and indeed for all mammals under 20 pounds. When news reached the tortoise, still essentially under the banner of the starting line, he fainted. Oh, now he's napping. Isn't that rich? Heckled a nearby goat, drunk on radish wine. Those who didn't know the context, who hadn't heard about the first race, never realized what was so important about this one. A tortoise raced a hare, and the hare won. Okay. They didn't understand the story, so they didn't repeat it, and it never became known. But those who were there for both contests knew what was so special about what they had witnessed. Slow and steady wins the race till truth and talent claim their place. The end. she would say and then narrow her eyes at the person she was talking to. What does your heart tell you? Sometimes she would use gut instead of heart. She switched those up sometimes. Yes, yes, the friend would say as the girl who gave great advice held her squint and then added a slow, small nod 1.5 seconds later. You're right, thank you. You give the best advice. I feel so much better. Thank you. That's how it happened most of the time, but sometimes her task was more complicated. These were the times the person would say, my heart tells me, or my gut tells me, but would then say something in a tone of voice that made it sound like the person wasn't necessarily all that happy to be saying what he or she was saying. The girl who gave great advice knew how to handle these situations too. She would lower her head 30 degrees and then tilt it back up after 2.5 seconds and ask at a slightly lower pace in a slightly lower voice, and what does your, and then she would say either gut or heart, just whichever one she hadn't said before. This was the part she had to be most careful about. Once she had said the same word as she had the first time, heart, twice, and the whole thing fell apart. If her first piece of advice hadn't worked, the second piece of advice always made everything right. Yes, yes, now I know what to do. You give the best advice, everyone told her. The best ever. Even though it seemed like her job was over, the girl who gave great advice knew she couldn't join in the celebration just yet. First she had to tilt her head down 37.5 degrees, and then after 2.5 seconds she had to look up at the person, nod slightly, raise both eyebrows at the same time, and smile. Looks like you figured it out. Looks like you figured it out, huh? Was the message this conveyed. Even though the problem was already solved by this point, it was this follow-through that would keep them coming back for advice the next time. After she was done with this part, she really was done, and she could do whatever she wanted with her face, but she always did the same thing anyway. She smiled, a bright, true smile, just for herself, because she really did love being the girl who gave great advice. Read one more. This one is called All You Have to Do. I wear a bright red t-shirt every single day. I've been doing it for years. That's all you have to do to meet the girl of your dreams. It sounds easy, doesn't it? It is. That's exactly my point. Wearing a red t-shirt is the hardest part of it all, and it's as easy as it could be. Once I have the red t-shirt on, I just live my life exactly the way I want to live it. Maybe I take my dog for a walk in the park. If there's a new bar or restaurant I've heard about, I might go and check the place out. And if there are any friends I want to catch up with, I might grab a bite or a drink there with them. But there's also nothing wrong with going to a restaurant or bar by yourself. In some ways, that's even better. I wear one with a pocket, but it doesn't matter. Bright red is the thing. Then when you're done living your life for the day, you just go to this website called Missed Connections and type in red shirt. Don't put it in quotes, because some people might say red t-shirt without a hyphen, and some others might spell it T-E-E, or some other little variation. There's no one right way to spell t-shirt. Isn't that interesting? So anyway, just type in red shirt. It will take a little bit of extra time, but that way you'll be sure not to miss anything. When you get to see who liked you, then you get to see who liked you. More important, who liked you for you. Not you changing your behavior to impress anyone or please anyone. Not you on date behavior. Just you being you. And anyone will tell you that's the whole point. You want to meet someone who likes the same things you do and who likes you most when you're being yourself. So that when you are in a relationship, the person will truly be compatible with the real you. That's all you have to do. It really is that simple. Now when someone does contact you, it seems Now when someone does contact you and it seems like it might be a match, should you wear another shirt on the date besides the red t-shirt so it doesn't seem like you only have one shirt, or should you wear the red t-shirt as always in case the first date doesn't go well and you want a simple way to check if you caught anyone else's interest while you were out